This episode of Against the Odds is brought to you by Card Kingdom. To pick up the deck and support the show, follow the link in the description box down below. Alright, Against the Odds time. Playing some deserts in Standard. And we'll keep this. Would like another land to get to Ramanamp and also get Gitrog Monster, but reasonable. Well, let's lead on the tap land, pass the turn. Was wondering if we're going to cycle this, but seems unlikely with this hand. Mountain for our opponent. And Gorger. Alright, it's aggro time. Play Deadlands, pass the turn. Well, we definitely need lands to get down our Hydra. Opponent pings us for 1. And Earthshaker Kenra. So we're taking 4 here. Oh, come on, land. Land. Alright, there's a forest. That's good. So play the forest and play our Excavator on defense, pass the turn. Ruins for our opponent. And on Crop Crasher. Good golly. Yup. Opponent gets in from 1 million down to 8. Oh, play Ether Hub. Get an energy. Play Hydra. Pass the turn. Play some defense. If our opponent has another on Crop Crasher, we're in serious trouble. Bombat Courier. Oh my goodness! Cartouche Zeal. Okay. Well, we're pretty dead. Opponent exiles 2 cards. We kill Bombat Courier, drop to 3. Grasp of Darkness doesn't save us. Kill on Crop Crasher? Oh, we can't. We can't play black here, we die. This costs a life to add a black mana. Well then, Ultra Aggro, bring in our Fatal Push, and that might be about it. Actually, let's go down Splendid Reclamation for Thought Knot. Actually, maybe we try Bantu's Last Reckoning over Thought Knot. Yeah, let's try it like that. Alright, this hand is much better. We don't have any big payoffs, but we get a lot of cheap things, a lot of rampy things. Hopefully this finds us something big. Mountain for our opponent, and Village Messenger. Gets in, 4-1. We'll play Forest, play our Servant of the Conduit, pass the turn. Sunscorched Desert. Opponent passes, flips the Messenger. Well, play Dunes of the Dead, play Servant of the Conduit. You know what, maybe we just also play Deathcap Cultivator. Pass the turn. This flips the Werewolf back around. Mountain for our opponent. And an on-Crop Crasher. Not actually that good here. Opponent attacks. Make Servant not block. Well, let's kill the Crasher. Take 1, down to 17. And we'll play Ramanamp Hydra and pass the turn. Hydra is probably one of our best cards in this matchup. Hard for red to kill, also can attack freely. And never mind, they have Collective Defiance. That is a way to kill it. Well, we do need to draw something else big. Yeah, that works. Ramanamp Hydra number 2. And pass the turn. Oh my god! No! Well, play Deathcap Cultivator, pass the turn. Actually, let's get in with a Servant. I think we got to start attacking. Oh, man. Double Collective Defiance is brutal. Akoum Firebird. Okay. Opponent gets in for 3. Well, let's Hour of Promise. Grab Hostile Desert and I guess an Ether Hub so we have an energy. Play Desert of the Glorified. And maybe we play defense. Pass the turn. Oh, no! Of all the jank. Oh, man. Let's attack with everything. Oh, goodness. Opponent blocks. Play Reckoning. Pass the turn. I expect we're still dead. On Crop Crasher, and that's the game. Opponent's draw just happened to line up incredibly well with our draw. Alright, Against the Odds time. Playing some deserts in Standard, and we'll give this a shot. Let's just lead on Ether Hub, pass the turn. We would like to cycle this desert if we get the chance. Opponent, I don't know what our opponent's on. Inspiring Vantage, Mardu Vehicles maybe? Oh, good golly. Cathartic Reunion pitching God Pharaoh's Gift. Sure. Blooming Marsh, run out a Servant of the Conduit, and pass the turn. Tormenting Voice, pitching Fiery Temper, kills our Servant. And passes. Well, play Servant, play Sunscorched Desert, ping our opponent, and pass the turn. Mountain, and Madcap Experiment. Sure. That's a Noxious Gearhulk. Well, let's kill Noxious Gearhulk, play Desert, pass the turn. Opponent's brew is spicy. Mountain, Sun Scourge Champion. Sure. We draw a Desert. Well, let's just play Dunes of the Dead and pass. And we can double cycle, then next turn we can start playing things. Opponent, another Cathartic Reunion. Pitches Combustible Gearhulk, plays a land. Insolent Neonate. So this is pretty clearly Reanimator. Another Neonate. Gets in. 4-2. So cycle our Desert. Cycle our Desert. Grasp isn't bad. Well, let's just play Excavator. Get back a Desert. Pass the turn. Leave up our Grasp of Darkness. Mostly worried about a big reanimation spell. Another land for our opponent. Refurbish on God Pharaoh's Gift. Well, this is going to be bad. Super bad. Noxious Gearhulk. Well, kill Noxious. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I think we're just dead. Down to 14. Well, there's Gitrog Monster. Play Rivulet. Pass the turn. We have Graveyard Hate in our sideboard. Opponent, Madcap Experiment. Another God Pharaoh's Gift. Sacks and sacks. Gets back the Dorks. Combustible Gearhulk. I think we got to let our opponent draw, unfortunately. And a Neonate. Goes attacking. So kill Combustible. Did our opponent draw a removal spell? They did. Oh, goodness. Alright, well, cycle Desert. Draw a card. I mean, Hour of Promise is good, but I don't think it's enough. Gitrog Monster. Opponent gets back 8 more power. Yep, we're going to scoop it up. Scoop it up, go to sideboarding. We have Thought-Knot Seers. Big one is Scavenger Ground. So bring that in over a Dunes of the Dead. Bring in, I guess, Transgress the Minds. Lay Bare the Hearts. And Thought-Knot Seers. Go down Splendid Reclamation. Go down Fatal Push. I guess Never to Return is actually Graveyard Hate 2. And just try to fight power with power. Oh, we have Scavenger Grounds in hand, but we have no mana of any important color. Oh, goodness. Alright, well, we'll try it. This is super ultra sketch. Play Rivulet, pass the turn. Oh, we need green mana like crazy. Opponent plays a mountain and passes. Green mana? No. Play Dunes of the Dead, pass the turn. We need our green mana. Inspiring Vantage. Opponent discards the God Pharaoh's Gift. Green mana? No. Play Scavenger Grounds, pass the turn. Inspiring Vantage. Cathartic Reunion. Discard some stuff. Insolent Neonate. Opponent passes. Not a land. Draw. Well, this isn't going to work. Opponent plays a tap land. Cathartic Reunion. Well, they're out of Cathartic Reunions, finally. Another Insolent Neonate. Opponent gets in. We draw. Oh, it's time to discard to hand size. There is a downside to playing colorless lands. Opponent plays a mountain. Madcap Experiment. Insolent Neonate. Well, sack Dunes of the Dead. Exile the graveyards. We don't have lands, though. Sacks other Neonate. Gets a 4-4. Gets in. Do we draw a land? Too little, too late, I believe. It is a land, finally, but we're so far behind. Yeah, we're gonna... Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll play a Tireless Tracker. None of this matters. We're dead. Opponent has another Madcap Experiment. Hits a Noxious Gearhulk, and now we're going to concede. That's unfortunate. Oh, boy. Well, I guess we should have mulliganed. Alright, against the odds time. Playing some mulligan, because we only have one land in standard. Deck! Alright, we're going to 5. Yep. Alright, we should have kept the first one with one colorless land. I guess we keep this. Sunscorched Desert. Pass the turn. Opponent has a Plains and a Thraben Inspector. And passes. Well, play the Desert. Land number 2. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Mountain. And Prophetic Prism. Jeez. Okay. No idea what's going on. Opponent gets in. 4-1. Down to 19. Well, Blooming Marsh is a land. So we get to play our Excavator. So I guess if we draw cycling lands, maybe there's a way we get back in from this mold of 5. Implement of Improvement. Ravenous Intruder. Alright. Well, come on, cycling land. Well, let's attack with our Excavator. Opponent blocks. Kill Ravenous Intruder. Pass the turn. PNLR for our opponent. Well, come on, lands. It's a forest. That is a land. So play the forest. Play excavator. Get in with our excavator. I guess we're one land away from Gitrog now. That might be good. Servo exhibition. So I'm guessing this is just like a Ravenous Intruder deck. Opponent gets in. Down to 18. Come on, lands. Oh boy. Well, I guess we just passed the turn. Servo schematic for our opponent. So not only do we need a land, we need to actually soon. Passes. Well, there's a land. All right. So play Aether Hub. Maybe, just maybe this is going to work out. And I think we just Gitrog Monster. Pass the turn. Because with Ramunap Excavator, Gitrog Monster is super free value. Still a little worried we just die to something random. Well, if there's any way to dig out of a Moldafy, it's the setup we got going on now. Opponent sacks the Implement. Another Ravenous Intruder. Well, tap our desert. Sack our desert. Draw a card. So we cycle, draw 2. Yeah, let's cycle. Draw a card, draw a card. Replay our desert, ping our opponent. Replay our desert. Grasp Ravenous Intruder. Pass the turn. Opponent. Gate of the City. Whoo, that's scary with Ravenous Intruder. Opponent passes. Well, sack our desert, draw a card. Yep, draw another card, grasp. Get back our desert, ping our opponent. Hour of Promise. Get Ifnir, Dreadlands, and our Rivulet. Yeah, let's just pass. I think we're pretty much set up to win with our lands if we can keep our Gitrog out. Saram's Expertise. Opponent's going pretty wide. Hand Servo Exhibition. So many 1/1s. Opponent gets in with the flyer. Well, we'll take it. Down to 17. So float mana, sack our desert, draw a card. Dreadlands, kill Pianalar, draw a card. The value trains are running. Get back our Dreadlands, get back Sunscorched Desert, ping our opponent, get in with a zombie, play Ramunap Hydra, pass the turn. Oh man, this is like exactly what we're trying to set up. Thankfully our opponent's not interacting with us, which is making it easy. But this is off of Moldafy, and look at what we got going on. Treasure Keeper, sure. Opponent passes. Well, float mana, sack the desert, draw a card. Alright, there's a Blooming Marsh. So let's get in with our Hydra. Opponent blocks. Gets a free Cascade, takes 2. Siege Modification. Alright, pumps up a dork, and scoops it up! Whew! Alright, well, our opponent didn't put up much resistance. We need Fatal Push. We need basically all of our removal. And Bantu's Last Reckonings. We basically just got to make sure we don't die to the ATOG. Go down this. Go down... maybe we just go down a couple Tireless Trackers. Go down 1 Death Cap. Try it like that. Alright, and... yeah, this looks fine. Consulate oh dear. Well, that's a way we could just lose. Play Bantu's... or play Desert of the Glorified. Pass the turn. There's a Plains. Opponent... Ravenous Intruder. Let's pass. We might have to Bantu's Last Reckoning before long. There's a mountain for our opponent. Gets in with the Intruder. Yeah, let's kill it. Pianalar for our opponent. Another Grasp. I'll play Aether Hub. I guess we pass? Oh, this is bad. Really could use some lands. Opponent plays land. Gets in for 3. Down to 16. And there's Saram's Expertise. And Key to the City. Well, I guess it's Bantu's Last Reckoning time. Well, there's a land too, so that's good. Let's Bantu's Last Reckoning. Play our desert. Pass the turn. So, not doing anything next turn. Hopefully our opponent does not draw Siege Modification. That would kill us. Wow, and our opponent just scoops it up? Well, we'll take it. Opponent's on a brew, but we gotta take the wins where you can get them when you're playing Desert Tribal. Sweet. Alright, against the odds time, playing some deserts in Standard. And this hand looks pretty good. Let's lead on Desert of the Glorified. Pass turn. We would like to cycle it, but I think it's more important to have double black. Evolving Wilds. Opponent passes. Play Blooming Marsh. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks. Gets an island. Alright, looks like some sort of control deck. Well, play Ether Hub, get an energy. Run out our Excavator. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a swamp, so Grixis control of some kind. Another Gitrog monster, which actually isn't bad. Let's get in with Excavator. Play Hostile Desert. Play Ramunap Hydra. And opponent counters. Alright. Gitrog monster seems super key in this matchup. I'm assuming Hour of Devastation is their big payoff. And Gitrog monster survives. Ether Hub for our opponent. Doomfall to take down our Hydra. Alright, well, coast is clear for the Gitrog monster. And cycles. Land? Tireless Tracker. You know what? I think we're just going to play Tireless Tracker. Play Tireless Tracker. Play the forest, get a clue. Pass the turn. Tireless Tracker is kind of a much kill threat on its own. Opponent passes, so let's sack our clue. There's a Rivulet. Well, get in with Tracker, see what our opponent does. Opponent takes it. So play Rivulet, get a clue. Play Ramunap Hydra, pass the turn. See if our opponent has Hour of Devastation. There's an Ether Hub. Well, crack our clue, pump our Tracker. Fatal Push, not super helpful. Play Ether Hub, get a clue. Do some attacking. I think this is fine. If they have Torrential, we can grasp. There's Torrential Gearhulk. Probably going to flashback Illumination. Yep, draws a couple cards. Blocks Tireless Tracker, so Grasp of Darkness. Kill Tracker, hit our opponent, and follow up with the Gitrog monster. Pass the turn. And our opponent scoops it up. Can't beat the Gitrog monster. Well, that's fortunate, because this matchup gets much better after sideboarding, so winning game 1 is a pretty huge deal. So we get Thought-Knot Seers, Lay Bare the Hearts, Transgress the Minds, and Collective Brutalities. Go down Fatal Push, go down Grasp of Darkness, and go down, I guess, 1 Death Cap. Try it like that. Alright, we can keep this. Opponent passes. We'll play a desert, pass the turn. Little short on real green mana. Ether Hub for our opponent. And Transgress, so can take Gitrog most likely. Yeah, opponent takes Gitrog. So play Ether Hub, get an energy, spend the energy for Servant, get back our energy, and 1, pass the turn. Wandering Fumarole for our opponent. Let's just Tireless Tracker, see what happens. Resolves. Alright, we get to play a Rivulet, get a clue, pass the turn. Island for our opponent. And Chandra. Kills Tireless Tracker. Alright. Well, this is actually pretty fine. We get to kill Chandra and Thought-Knot Seer. So play Rivulet, play Thought-Knot, double Torrential Liliana. Well, let's take Liliana, kill Chandra, and pass the turn. Hopefully next turn we get Hour of Promise down. Sunken Hollow. Opponent passes. Well, let's Hour of Promise. Oh, did they top deck a counter? They did. Alright, get in with Thought-Knot. That's unfortunate. We really wanted that to resolve. Hopefully our opponent doesn't draw a land. It's a tap land at least. That's something. Cracks it. Gets a mountain. Ooh, there's Gitrog. That was some good timing. Play Gitrog monster. Get in with both creatures. Opponent doesn't have energy to activate. Play the desert, pass the turn. Now we're a lot less scared of the Torrential since we have Gitrog monster. All they have to flashback is Supreme Will. Opponent passes, so let's sacrifice Ether Hub, draw a card, get in with Gitrog. Opponent takes it. Let's crack our clue, see what we draw. Dunes of the Dead, that's not bad. Play Servant. Yep, gonna counter. Play Dunes of the Dead. I think we hold the desert, pass the turn. Opponent needs something pretty good here. There's a land. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Cycles, okay. And passes. So we get to sack Dunes of the Dead. Draw a card, get a 2/2. Ooh, another Thought-Knot. And a Lay Bare the Heart. Oh my goodness. Let's Lay Bare the Heart. Another Torrential. Well, we'll pay for Censor. Last card's a land. Cycle Desert, draw 2 cards. Hour of Promise, and Blooming Marsh. The big question is, do we attack? We lose a... Oh, yeah, we definitely attack. Attack with Gitrog. This lets us kill... Or attack with Gitrog. Opponent blocks. Opponent blocks. Kill both. Opponent's out of cards. Lethal on board. Pass the turn. 3 cards in hand. Our opponent had nothing. And our opponent scoops it up. Whoo! Deserts taking down Grixis Control. Sweet. All right, against the odds time. Playing some Deserts and mulliganing into Oblivion. Instant deck. Oh, the classic 1 lander into 0 lander. Into... Oh boy. Well, we'll try it. We don't have a choice. We'll keep Deadlands. I mean, I guess our best hope is to get Gitrog Monster down. Port Town for our opponent. Untapped. And Thraben Inspector. So this looks like Blue-White Monument. We'll play Ifnir Deadlands. Pass the turn. Hope our opponent doesn't have a Monument. Tap land for our opponent. And another Thraben Inspector. And opponent gets in for 1. We draw another land. I'll play the blue source, pass the turn. Opponent, Port Town, untapped, and Selfless Spirit. We can't actually kill that because we don't have green mana for Gitrog. Down to 17. Play the desert, pass the turn. Oh man, this mana base is killing us. Things go much better if we have a mana dork. Port Town, untapped. Opponent gets in, down to 13. Oh man, if they can counter our Gitrog monster, we are in seriously bad shape. I guess we've been in bad shape since we mulled to 5, actually. Opponent passes. Play Dunes of the Dead. Play Gitrog monster. Come on, no counter. Or removal. We're just hoping against hope our opponent's on blanks. They didn't play anything, which suggests cast out, stasis snare. Yeah. Yup. Oh, the mull to 5s. Pass the turn. Westville Abbey. And a Cloud Blazer. Yeah, we're pretty dead. Opponent hits us to 9. There's our Servant. Oh, play Ether Hub, get an energy. Play Servant of the Conduit. I think this is way too little, way too late, though. Pass the turn. Another Westville Abbey. There's Oketra's Monument. And a Thraben Inspector. And yeah, I mean, that's just game. That's game. Opponent gets in with the Flyers. So, I mean, we can kill the Cloud Blazer. I guess we kill Selfless Spirit, but I don't think this really matters. Opponent sacks it. Sure. Down to 7. I guess we can... Oh boy, none of this is good. Kill Cloud Blazer. Play Hostile Desert. Exile Cloud Blazer. I expect we're still just dead here. Dead to any cheap creature. Bygone Bishop. Makes a 1/1. Gets a clue. Tap land. And we're Militia Captain. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can draw to get out of this. Whoo, Deserts. Well, we did mull to 5, which is... probably the biggest problem. Bring in Bantu's Last Reckoning. Bring in Scavenger Grounds. Bring in maybe Collective Brutality and Fatal Push. Go down Splendid Reclamation. Go down Never to Return. Go down 1 land, a Dunes of the Dead. Cultivator, Thought Knot, and I guess Cultivator. Try it like that. We're on the play, and this hand is much more reasonable. So, play the Desert, pass the turn. Forest and Servant of the Conduit. Ramping towards our Hour of Promise. Port Town for our opponent. Untapped. And Selfless Spirit. We draw a Desert. So let's Fatal Push Selfless Spirit. Play the Rivulet. Get in with Servant. And pass the turn. Hopefully next turn we have Hour of Promise with zombies. There's a Monument. That's an annoying card to deal with. Cycle our Desert. Well, play Ether Hub, get an energy. Hour of Promise, get Scavenger Grounds, and I guess Hostile Desert for now. Get some zombies, pass the turn. Opponent has a tap land, and Thraben Inspector, gets a 1/1, and Selfless Spirit, and passes. Well, let's Hour of Promise. Opponent has the counter. Play Blooming Marsh, pass the turn. We really needed that to resolve. Opponent plays the Plains, cracks their clue, goes to combat. Now kill Selfless Spirit. Opponent has Spell Queller, gets a 1/1. Down to 2 cards at least. Well, let's see if we draw something good here. Hydra's not bad. We can take that. So let's start with Grasp Spell Queller. Get back Grasp. Grasp Selfless Spirit. Get in with our zombies. Opponent takes it. Play our Hydra. Pass the turn. Opponent has a land. And passes. That's good news. Ooh. Bantu's Last Reckoning could be good in the future. Well, let's do some attacking. See what our opponent has. Blocks. 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 We'll just kill the token. Opponent's to 7. Pass the turn. Oh, no! Oh, boy. Cloud Blazer is probably our opponent's best draw there. That's really good for them. Also, 3 minions. Oh, no. Oh, we were so close to putting this away. Opponent passes. Well, let's go attacking. Cracks the clue. Opponent blocks. And blocks. And blocks. And blocks. Alright, bunch of stuff dies. Let's play Excavator. Get back our desert. Pass the turn. Opponent plays the land. Hanweir Militia Captain. Okay. And passes. Well, sack a desert. Mill our opponent. Untap. We'll go to combat. Get in with our Hydra. Opponent blocks. Down to 1. Well, get back our desert. Pass the turn. Hope that next turn we can win with Bantu's Last Reckoning. Opponent gets to flip the Militia Captain. Plays a land. Bygone Bishop. Passes. Well, this is our chance. So we need a land in our graveyard. Oh, that doesn't work. Maybe we can't win. Because if we sack, we're going to exile the land and we don't have the blue mana we need. Alright, Fatal Push. Well, let's do it this way. Fatal Push the Cult Leader. Go attacking. Opponent blocks. And blocks. And blocks. And blocks. And blocks. Well, let's kill all the 1/1s. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a land. Passes. Ooh, Rivulet is a super key draw. That is very, very important here. Play the Rivulet. Pass the turn. So I think we should be able to win next turn, hopefully. So, add blue. Mill our opponent. Sacking Scavenger Grounds. Get back Scavenger Grounds. Oh, no. Oh, no. We were supposed to leave that in the graveyard. Oh, boy. Well, let's Collective Brutality, drain our opponent, hope they don't have a counter. I mean, this should work too. Our opponent's at 1. Whoo, we got there. All right, taking down a game at least from Blue-White Monument. What I was initially thinking is Bantu's Last Reckoning, fire up our creature land, attack for lethal, but then I played the land out of habit. But Collective Brutality, bail this out. Yeah, let's run it back. All right, deck, be good to us. I think we got a mulligan. Oh boy. Well, this is a very similar hand. Hydra to the bottom because we need lands. Port down for our opponent. So, our mana base coming back to haunt us. Play the tap land, pass the turn. Opponent, Port Town, untapped. And Selfless Spirit. Well, there's an hour promise that we gotta get to someday. Play the land, pass the turn. Come on, deserts. Opponent has a plains. Bygone Bishop. Gets in. Lands would be good. Gitrog is not a land. Well, play Tireless Tracker. Pass the turn. Opponent has a tap land. And a Stasis Snare for our tracker. Come on, deck. Give us some lands. We really would like some black mana. Opponent gets in. Land? Oh, no. No! Play Tireless Tracker. Oh, Tireless Tracker's so bad without lands. And we are playing 25 lands in this deck. There's the Cloud Blazer. Oh, things keep getting worse. Worse by the second. Opponent gets in with the Flyers. Come on, deck. Decide. Ah! Alright, well, that's game. Opponent blocks. Yeah, sure, why not? We don't have lands, so Tireless Tracker, pretty bad. Pass the turn. Double Bygone Bishop. Yeah, the problem is we just don't have outs since we don't have black mana. If we had black mana, Thraben Inspector, we'd at least have Bantu's Last Reckoning to draw into, but since we don't have black mana, there's no combination of draws that beats our opponent's Flyers. We draw black mana, we can't be drawing answers. We don't have enough time to get to Grasp. Well, there's a land to taunt us, and we'll scoop it up. Woo! Alright, that was a rough one. Alright, against the odds time, playing some deserts. And, I mean, it's deserts. What do we expect? We get a quick Ramanamp Hydra. Ooh, and there's the Gitrog monster. Well, let's start with Desert of the Glorified. Pass the turn. That's Winding Constrictor. So, playing Aether Hub. And I think we just kill this right now while our opponent's tapped out. This hand's actually looking pretty sweet now. Greenbelt Rampager gets an energy. Well, let's play Aether Hub. Get an energy. Play a Servant of the Conduit. Get 2 energy, which is actually super important, and pass the turn. Opponent finds a land. Fatal pushes our servant. Opponent has, Bone Picker. Okay, that's a flyer. Oh my god, no! Oh my goodness. Oh, play Tireless Tracker. Play a land, get a clue. Oh man, double Bone Picker is so brutal. No. Oh my goodness. Oh, our deck. Our poor deck. No matter what we do, bad things. Oh my. Ow. Oh my god. I don't know how we ever beat double Bone Picker. I guess we draw removal pretty quick here. There's a Greenbelt Rampager. Bone Pickers are so devastating. Sack a clue, draw a land? Yeah, I think that's game. We take 9 and then we die. Hissing Quagmire, yep. Jeez, deck! Oh! Well, bring in Fatal Pushes. Oh boy. Let's go down Thought Knot for another removal spell, and let's try it like this. Alright, we get to play first. And, alright. I mean, lots of tap lands, but we'll give it a try. Also, no removal, which is annoying, but play a desert, pass the turn. Tap lands are to be expected in desert.deck. Blooming Marsh, and passes. Well, play a tap land, pass the turn. Opponent, Forest, and there's a Long Tusk Cub. Ooh, we draw a Forest. Well, let's just play Servant, get some energy, play a desert, pass the turn. So, if our opponent doesn't kill the Servant, we can Hour of Promise, which would be huge in this situation. Alright, opponent does kill it, plays a Forest, gets in with a Long Tusk Cub, gets some energy, yep, and passes. Well, play Tireless Tracker, play the Swamp, get a clue, and pass the turn. Opponent goes attacking, we will take the hit, yep, down to 15, and Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Well, that works out. We get to play the Forest, get another clue, Hour of Promise with Tireless Tracker. I guess we just get, let's just get 2 Rivlets, get some clues, get some zombies, get in with Tireless Tracker, and I think we just pass and don't play this desert, so we can Gitrog Monster, cycle it if we want to. Opponent goes attacking. Well, we'll just chump here, I think. Seems safest. There's a 1-mana Bone Picker. Yup. Opponent draws. Forest. And passes. Ooh, Fatal Push is good. Fatal Push is very good. So let's go attacking with our Tireless Tracker. If our opponent wants to trade with Bone Picker, that's fine. Opponent's going to trade. So, play Gitrog Monster, sack a clue, play Dunes of the Dead, play Desert, pass the turn. So now our opponent's pretty much got to kill this Gitrog, or it is going to take over the game, especially since we have Ramanamp Excavator. Opponent goes attacking. Well, we'll just chump with the zombie. Should be able to Fatal Push this eventually. Alright, another Bone Picker. Draws a card. And a Hissing Quagmire. And Walking Ballista. Sure, that's fine. Well, let's sack our Dunes of the Dead. Get a 2/2. Draw a card. Another Gitrog. So, it'll push Bone Picker. Play Excavator. Get back Dunes of the Dead. Mill our opponent, sacking Dunes of the Dead. Draw a card. Get another zombie. It's a combo. Get back Dunes of the Dead. Get in with Gitrog. Opponent takes it. And let's just sack a clue. Alright, Deathcap Cultivator. Pass the turn. Well, we kind of have our combo set up, so we're getting a lot of free power and toughness now. Opponent gets to scry. Draws a card. Yep, draws a card. Goes to combat. Goes attacking. Well, we'll keep zombie chumping. Opponent plays a tap land. Well, we sack our Dunes of the Dead. Get a zombie. Draw a card. Oh, the value. Alright, Ether Hub, zombie. Well, get back Dunes of the Dead. Attack with everything. Opponent gonna do some chumping. Chumps Gitrog. Pings us down to 13. Fatal Pushes Ramanamp Excavator. Alright. Alright. There goes our combo for the time being. Well, opponent's tapped out, so let's grasp Long Tusk Cub. Play Ramanamp Hydra. Play Ether Hub. And pass the turn. Hey, opponent gets to scry, but I don't think they have too many outs left. Opponent. Oh, man. Well, I guess it's blowout time. So, add blue, mill our opponent, draw a card, makes our Hydra of 5/5 to survive grasp. Ooh, Hostile Desert's not bad either. Yep. So our opponent can ping it to death, but then they just lose to our board. And our opponent scoops it up. Sweet. I think this is a fine setup. Only consideration would be Bantu's Last Reckoning. Might be worthwhile. Maybe we just go down Deathcap Cultivators since they die to Walking Ballista for a couple reckonings. Just as a hedge. Let's try it like that. On the draw, I think this is fine. There's an Ether Hub. Not a land. Alright. Desert. Go. Opponent. Tune with Ether. And a Swamp. And passes. Well, play Blooming Marsh. Play a Servant. Hope like crazy, we draw a land next turn. There's a Fatal Push. Yup. Well, come on, deck. Give us some lands. Opponent has Winding Constrictor. There's a land. Alright, so we are just going to play it safe. Grasp Winding Constrictor. Play a Desert. Pass the turn. Opponent. Walking Ballista. Another land. Alright. Well, we're going to go with the upside play. Play Servant. Get some energy. Play the Desert, pass the turn. So if our opponent can't kill Servant, we're free to... Oh, there's a land. We're free to Hour of Promise. Opponent has Rishkar. Well, let's see if they cash in Walking Ballista to kill Servant. Goes to combat. Gets in. Well, we're going to take it. We really want this Hour to resolve. Opponent passes. All right, we got there. That's what we were hoping for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hour of Promise. Lets us get, I guess, just 2 Rivlets and some zombies. Play the Desert, pass the turn. Follow up for our opponent. Tireless Tracker. Do they have a land? They do. Plays a land, gets a clue. Yup. And passes. Well, let's play Gitrog Monster. Play Ether Hub. Actually, I think we try to kill Tireless Tracker. See if our opponent has, alright, no Blossoming Defense. So opponent's card advantage engine is shut down. And ours is just coming online. So unless our opponent can find a way to kill the Gitrog Monster. Tireless Tracker. Okay, that's not Verdurous Gearhulk. Hissing Quagmire gets a clue. Sure. Passes. So we'll just sack our Ether Hub. Draw a card. Well, let's get in with Gitrog Monster. See what our opponent does. Takes it. Fatal Push Walking Ballista. Opponent sacks their clue. Gonna ping our Servant. So, float a mana, play another Servant, get some energy, and I guess we just pass for now. Opponent finds a land, gets a clue. There's a Bone Picker, full price. No attacks, so I think we start milling. Mill our opponent, sack a Rivulet, draw a card. Well, there's Ramanump Hydra, which isn't bad. So, well, we milled a Verdurous, which is nice. Sack a Rivulet, draw a card. Lands, please? Alright, no lands, so Grasp of Darkness, Bone Picker. Play Ramanump Hydra. Get in with the Gitrog Monster. Opponent takes it, down to 8. We're getting pretty close to closing this one out. Pass the turn. Oh, we're so close. Opponent can crack their clue. Yup. Unfortunately, we're getting low on lands because we haven't drawn any lands off our Gitrog Monster. If we ever find an Excavator, we just get all of our lands back, though. Another Bone Picker. Plays a land, gets a clue. Well, just finding another removal spell would be good. Walking Ballista. Opponent passes. Well, sack a Desert. This is getting sketchy. Draw a card. Well, Hour of Promise helps. That gets us a couple lands back. So play Hour of Promise. Get Dunes of the Dead and Sunscorched Desert. Ping our opponent. Down to 7. Get in with Ramanump Hydra. Opponent takes it down to 2. Oh, we're so close. We are so close. Oh, when the deck works, it really works. Draws a card. Plays a land, gets a clue. Gitrog is just really hard for a lot of decks to kill. Goes to combat. And passes. So I think we sack Sunscorched Desert. I don't think another zombie especially helps. There's an Excavator. That's what we were looking for. Play Excavator. Get back Sunscorched Desert. Ping our opponent down to 1. Get back the Rivulet. Go attacking. Attack, attack. See what our opponent does. Blocks there. Blocks there. Yup. So they can sack the clue. Opponent sacks, draws a card. Bunch of stuff dies. Follow up with another Gitrog Monster. Maybe we should have just swung out with the zombies. Counters up the Walking Ballista. Well, I mean, our opponent's dead to our Desert. They basically got to deal with Gitrog. 5 mana, 6 mana. Oh, Noxious Gearhulk would be bad. Verdurous Gearhulk. Okay. I guess that gives our opponent a way to kill Gitrog Monster with Walking Ballista. Siphoner, gets an energy, 1 card in hand, and we still have our safety valve. Well, alright, easy enough. Sack Sunscourge Desert, draw a card. Yep, so opponent's going to try it, but they don't know about the second Excavator. So we're going to get the Desert kill, the Sunscourge Desert kill. Yep, ping, 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 Excavator down. We draw a card, attack with everything. Opponent blocks, and blocks, and blocks, and blocks, and blocks. Puts a counter on Ballista, yep, so he can shoot down our zombie. Pings our zombie, pings our zombie. Then we just Bantu's Last Reckoning. Opponent's completely tapped out. Ramanop, Excavator, get back our Sunscourge Desert, and ping 4-1. The Desert kill! It's possible! We can do it! Yes! I mean, we won some games and matches before, but that was the most direct Desert kill that we've had, so that was pretty sweet. Yes! So what do we learn this week about Desert Tribal in Standard? And overall, we played 6 matches, won 3 of them, played 14 games, won 7 of them, so exactly a 50% performance all around. 50%, 50%, 50%. And, I mean, that's fine for an against the odds deck. I think the thing I learned about the deck while playing it is if we can just get to the late game and have our stuff sit on the battlefield, it is insanely powerful. Our value engine with Ramanop Excavator and Gitrog Monster, sacking lands for value, making zombies, pinging our opponent with Sunscorched Desert, killing stuff with Ifnir Dreadlands, milling our opponent with the Rivulet. There's so much value if we get to the late game. It feels really unbeatable at that point. Yes, there's things that beat it. The other thing I learned is Gitrog Monster is really hard to kill. Even decks that are playing black and have access to hard removal don't necessarily have things that kill Gitrog Monster. People are playing Fatal Push, they're playing Grasp of Darkness, they're playing Abrades, they're playing Harness Lightnings. All those things really have a hard time killing a 6/6. So Gitrog, if we can stick it, just sits on the battlefield and goes insane. Like, it is so absurd in this deck. So that's the good news. If we can get to the late game, the deck is nigh unbeatable. The problem is we tend to get run over in the early game. We saw that against Mono Red in specific, also the Blue-White Monument deck. Decks that can just curve out starting in 1 and 2, play a bunch of fast stuff. If we don't have the right draw and have our Fatal Pushes and Grasp of Darkness at the right time and then follow that up by a big threat to start generating value, it's very easy that they just run us over before we get to the point where we're playing Gitrogs and we're sacking lands and we're getting back lands and like comboing off. So that's the challenge with the deck. We have some stuff that helps, like Hour of Promise, we have the removal, but we still got to get to the late game or the mid game to really have that stuff matter. So I feel like that's where the deck fits. We're further kind of punished by our Desert mana base in the aggro matchups. In the slow matchups, we can get away with playing tons of tapped desert lands, but if we're fighting against aggro, not only do we have a ton of tap lands, but our mana base is risky. Like, we have the Ether Hubs and the Blooming Marsh for fixing, but because so many of the deserts are mono-colored or colorless, we run into matchups where we don't have double black for Grasp of Darkness, or we just don't hit our stuff on time. We had matches we lost because we couldn't find our green mana to play our Ramanop Hydra, which in this deck was actually really impressive. Yes, it can lose to Fatal Push with Revolt, but a 5/5 for 4 with so many relevant keywords was actually pretty strong, so I was impressed with that card as well. So the deck was really fun, it was really unique. If we can do our thing is really powerful, but we don't always get to do our thing in some matchups. So I don't know if this deck could really win a tournament. I think if everyone's playing slower decks, controlling decks, the mid-rangey energy decks, then our deck has a chance because we can outvalue just about anyone. I think we can even outvalue control decks a lot of the time if the game just goes long and we resolve a Gitrog monster. It's just so hard for anyone to keep up with what we're doing. We're just overloaded with desert value, and we have the unique kill conditions with our deserts, which is really sweet. We never milled anyone out, but I'm sure it would happen eventually. But just, we got the Sunscourge Desert kill, we were able to make a lot of zombies with Dunes of the Dead, so we had some really cool land synergies going on. So I think that it really depends on the matchup in the metagame. We don't want to play aggro. We're going to get run over most of the time against aggro. But against slower decks, we can just absolutely dominate with our engines, which are incredibly powerful. So I think it's sweet. It has some flaws that probably keep it from being a real deck or a tier deck. But I think in the right meta, it's playable and it's really unique and fun in a cool way to abuse the desert archetype and the desert synergies. So anyway, that's been our Against the Odds for this week. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.